So, today we're diving into Carmelite spirituality, and I'm willing to bet it's not quite what you think it is. This is a path that doesn't just hide from the world in some quiet chapel. No, it leads you right into the very heart of it. I mean, think about it. When you hear the word Carmelite, what's the first image that pops into your head? Probably a life of total silence, right? Solitude, completely cut off from all the noise of the world. And yeah, that's a common picture. But what if I told you that's only half the story? Because that stereotype, it completely misses the most dynamic, the most surprising, and honestly, the most crucial part of this entire spiritual tradition. At its very core, Carmelite spirituality is all about what's called the contemplative active life. Now, what does that mean? It's this amazing blend where that deep, silent prayer doesn't pull you away from the world. Instead, it actually fuels your service right in the middle of all the action. And you see how this creates a kind of loop, right? Prayer fuels your service, and then that very service, it becomes a way to encounter God even more deeply. They aren't two separate things you do. They're totally interconnected. One flows directly into the other. It's a cycle. So, okay, how does this actually work in real life? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in perception, something we can call the Carmelite lens. It's about learning to see the world, and especially other people, in a completely new light. You know who put it perfectly? The great Carmelite reformer, Saint Teresa of Avila. She said, the test of true prayer is charity. I mean, think about that. What's the real proof that your prayer is authentic, that it's actually working? It's how you love and how you treat the people around you. Simple as that. For spiritual giants like Saint Teresa, serving that difficult person in her community was serving Christ. And for Saint John of the Cross, real union with God meant you wanted what he wanted. And what does he want? For his children to be loved and cared for. You see? In both cases, prayer has to overflow into action. It's not an option. So this love in action idea, it finds its most practical expression in what we call the works of mercy. And these give us a kind of framework for addressing two really distinct but equally urgent kinds of human need that we all see every single day. And gosh, few people in modern times understood this better than Mother Teresa. Her famous insight wasn't about a lack of money in the West. It was about a poverty of the spirit, that deep internal ache of feeling unwanted, unloved, and just uncared for. She called it the biggest disease. So let's break these two down. On one side, you've got material poverty. That's pretty straightforward, the lack of physical things like food or shelter. And that's addressed by what we call the corporal or bodily works of mercy. But then there's this other side, spiritual poverty. That's the deep emptiness, the anxiety. And that is addressed by the spiritual works of mercy. And both of them demand a loving response from us. Now, here's where that Carmelite lens really changes the game. When it comes to material poverty, this way of seeing things reframes the entire experience. Serving someone's physical needs becomes more than just a good deed. It becomes a sacred encounter. It becomes an act of adoration. Okay, picture this. A student is about to go volunteer at a shelter, but first, they spend a few minutes in prayer, and they ask for one thing. Let me see Christ in the people I'm about to meet. All of a sudden, handing out a plate of food isn't just a task anymore. It's an offering made directly to Jesus. The work totally transforms from a chore into a moment of communion. But what about that other crisis, the hidden one, spiritual poverty, that loneliness, that despair, that feeling of being completely lost? It's everywhere today, and maybe it's even more widespread, and it requires a totally different kind of response. So let's take another example. A student notices a friend is just drowning in anxiety. Now, the response here isn't to try and fix them. It's simply to be present, to listen patiently, to offer a quiet word of hope, to maybe gently share the truth of Christ's love. You see, this is a profound work of mercy, and it flows directly from a heart that's at peace from prayer. So this really brings the question back to us, doesn't it? Where do we apply all this? This isn't just some theory for saints and convents. The real challenge is to find who Jesus calls the least of these, right in our own lives. And you know what? It's actually a pretty practical way to think about it. First, just look within your own family. Who's lonely? Who's sick? Then, look out into your community. Who's that overlooked person on your street or campus? And finally, in whatever your specific mission is, remember the goal is this two-way street, to see Jesus in others and to help them see him in you. At the end of the day, that's the big takeaway. The works of mercy, whether it's feeding the hungry or comforting the anxious, they aren't some kind of add-on to a life of prayer. They are its living, breathing expression. One cannot authentically exist without the other. And so this all just leads to one final, really personal question. Now that we get it, now that we understand how prayer is truly meant to fuel action, who is Christ waiting for you to see today?